Government pumping hundreds of thousands of dollars into upgrading roads on the south coast. Major infrastructural work planned for the Bridgetown Port. Barbados supporting Guyana in its border dispute with Venezuela. And in sports, Barbados wins its first medal at the Pan Am Games.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC NewsNight, starting now.
Good evening, I'm Pearson Bowen. Thousands of dollars will be spent in coming weeks on repairs of a section of Highway 7 along the south coast. This as government responds to commuters' concerns about pothole problems. This from Acting Prime Minister and Minister of Transport and Works, Cynthia Bradshaw, as she toured the affected area today. Crystal Hoyt has that story.
A $300,000 investment in Highway 7 is anticipated to begin in a week's time. This was disclosed during a walkthrough along the South Coast this morning by Acting Prime Minister and Minister of Transport, Works and Water Resources, Cynthia Bradshaw. She says an overlay on a section of Highway 7 is to be done.
Because we recognize that there has been significant inconvenience to Barbadians and to tourists for the last few years as it relates to this particular road. There are a number of potholes, there are a number of patchy areas, particularly where we are standing now. I think between the area by Tiki Bar all the way down to the area Tapas, which I think is perhaps the worst part of Highway 7. And we're trying to address those to give the road the proper seal that is necessary, that if we get heavy rains again, hopefully it will at least hold up as opposed to continuing to deteriorate over the next few months.
While the entire Highway 7 will be done eventually, only this section will be completed in this phase.
We want to make it clear the entire road of Highway 7 is not being done, but we have identified with the technical team the very specific areas which are the roughest and the ones which I think are very problematic in terms of the potholes. We've had a lot of rains recently, and it's not just Highway 7 but across the entire country where we have had a lot of deterioration or further deterioration of our roads. And I know that the public is quite upset about the number of potholes that have arisen over the course of the last few days in particular as a result of that flooding.
When questioned on the quality of materials used on roads in Barbados generally, Acting Prime Minister Bradshaw said the selection was based on a number of factors.
Recently on the highway, we were able to use granite. We've used the basalt as well. So they have experimented with different mixes, different types of stone, depending on the type of area and the surface and the amount of traffic that is on those roads. Then that will determine the type of materials that are actually used. Are we satisfied with the works? I think that generally there is room for improvement. I think from MTW's end, there needs to be greater supervision of the contractors to ensure that the quality of the work is to a standard that is acceptable not only to the ministry but also to the people of Barbados.
Phase 1 of the work on Highway 7 is to be completed by month end. For Stowe Hoyt, CBC News.
Several new jobs and possible savings for thousands of householders could come with the construction next year of a multi-million-dollar hybrid power plant called Renew Stable Barbados. That facility is a collaboration between HDF Energy and Rubis. Rianne Phillips tells us more.
The new plant carries an estimated price tag of $150 million US or 300 million Barbados dollars.
So the project will be built on the Harrow Plantation site in 6 Road, St. Philip. We had our first public consultation on our environmental and social impact assessment last year, December, at the Princess Margaret School right within the community.
So this is the solar area that you see right there. Bushy Park is close to here. This is the 6 Road community that you see here, and that is the storage area where there's like hydrogen storage, battery storage, electrolysis, electrical room. This is where all the power coming from there flows here to be stored and to be retransformed into a continuous and stable power output for the grid. And you have a sheep farm is actually operating within the entire plant, grazing under the panel, maintaining the site, and making the most out of this agricultural land.
Apart from providing grazing opportunities for over 1,800 sheep, it promises greener pastures for job seekers.
Thus far, we've been able to utilize a lot of local content from the project conception and development phase through legal and regulatory support. But as we move in terms of next year, and I'll let Thibault talk a little bit more on the timelines, it will be the job creation opportunities that we're bringing to Barbados in terms of the project construction phase and the various streamlines of different job families that were created along that area. And once we get up and running through the operation and maintenance phase, we're looking to employ at least about 20 additional persons who will be part of the operations and maintenance and the management of the hydrogen center facility that will be up and part of the Renew Stable Barbados project.
And there are some positive spin-offs for the nearby community.
We'll be also looking to supply additional benefits to the community members within the Six Roads community. So we're looking very closely potentially at the Six Roads market as a potential area where we want to provide support to that community area. There's supply in terms of Wi-Fi access and some different additional school initiatives that we want to work towards. Really ensuring that as the project gets up and developed, that it is within the community, but the community also feels part of the project as well.
Once up and running, it is envisioned the site will supply clean, stable and competitive baseload electricity 24/7 to 16,000 homes. Rianne Phillips, CBC News.
There are plans to expand the Bridgetown Port to make it a major logistics hub. The disclosure was made at the opening of the multi-million-dollar port fire station last evening. Trevor Thorpe reports.
Efforts are being concentrated on major infrastructure projects to meet new maritime business demands and emerging opportunities. This, according to Minister of Tourism and International Transport Ian Goodinedgel, who says the new fire station fits in with the development of the port. A new berth and marina are also in the works and should be completed by early next year.
Expansion of the shallow draft marina for yachts and pleasure craft is on track to meet its completion date of February 2024. Once completing, the berthing capacity of the $32 million marina will be doubled over the current numbers. There will be commercial space available for retail and operational amenities, as well as storage critically needed for operators and tenants. A 6,956 square feet restaurant with a spectacular view of the marina and port will add to the diversity of the island's offerings.
The port has also awarded a concession for the construction of a new boat haul-out facility to support the repair of small craft, including fishing vessels.
And negating the need for boat owners to travel off-island to service vessels annually and to keep foreign exchange in Barbados, I may add. Construction of the 314-meter-long berth 6, initiated in January of this year, is well underway. With investment budgeted approximately $108 million, dredging is being done to a depth of 13 meters, and the container park will be expanded by 10 acres.
Minister of Home Affairs Wilfred Abrams says with the opening of the new facility, the fire services response capacity has been doubled. An ambulance service is also part of the plans.
It is an ultra-modern fire station. It is fantastic. We had a sneak peek at it a little while ago, and I am pleased at the accommodation that has been provided for the fire service and ably paid for by the port. The other thing we're doing is commissioning this brand new state-of-the-art fire tender, and we hope to have another one positioned here when the resources allow. We're awaiting some custom-built vehicles as well, and I understand from the chief that his aim is to have 2 fire tenders here and 1 emergency response vehicle as well. So the port, as far as you are concerned, you are now completely and will be completely covered in any emergency eventuality.
Roger Bourne will be the officer in charge of the new port fire station and will lead a 20-member strong male and female team.
The building has some room for development so that we can, as we provide the services that we require, and we require more staff to provide these services, we can now grow to develop the training, the skill sets of the individuals, and by extension increase our capacity here at the Bridgetown Port to respond to the ever-growing need, as the Minister Edgell said, that the port is on a development plan.
Familiarization tours and training are among the early activities that will be getting the attention of the team at the new fire station. Trevor Thorpe, CBC News.
Barbados has signaled it stands with Guyana in its border dispute with Venezuela and on the side of international law. Permanent representative to the OAS, Ambassador Noel Lynch, stated the island's position during an extraordinary special session of the Permanent Council of the Organization of American States. It has convened at the request of the government of Guyana to provide an update on the border controversy with Venezuela. Several members of the CARICOM, along with the United States, reiterated their unwavering and unequivocal support for Guyana. Ambassador Lynch says there's a long-standing tradition of solidarity within CARICOM.
We respect Guyana's sovereign right to defend its territory, as has been outlined in the 1899 Arbitral Award. What we all seek, however, is peaceful and mature solutions to the issues of conflict, and particularly within this region. In a world that has become so uncertain and so unpredictable, we must have peaceful, equitable outcomes in accordance with international law. We must also respect our reputation as a zone of peace. This is one of the few remaining areas that we can boast of as a zone of peace. Therefore, maturity must prevail.
Guyana's Prime Minister Mark Phillips, in his address, highlighted Venezuela's claim to its Essequibo region is not only a threat to its sovereignty, but its ability to protect its people and develop its resources. He says Guyana is vigilant with the intentions and implications of the planned Venezuelan referendum. He says Venezuela's action may be geared towards abandoning the proceedings at the International Court of Justice and to resorting to its own measures to settle the controversy.
It is confirmed that Venezuela has significantly increased its military forces and equipment on its border with Guyana. While the position of the government of Venezuela, which was communicated to Guyana, is that the security forces have been mobilized on the border to curb illegal mining, there have also been reports of the Venezuelan military building a landing strip in a zone near to the Essequibo region. No explanation about the airstrip has been provided to the government of Guyana, but it is clear that it is the intention of that state to increase rhetoric on the controversy and drive fear in the Guyanese population.
We'll take a break here, but coming up, Barbados collecting data on its water resources. 3 men and a woman have appeared in court for causing a disturbance while at the Constitution River terminal. Police say that incident took place on Monday. Those arrested are Nathaniel Ray Greenidge, 29 years, of Berry Hill, Merricks, St. Philip; Ronald Gilbert Levine, 58 years, of 3rd Avenue, Graves Land, Blackrock, St. Michael; Gerard Andre Brathwaite, 27 years, of Brayton Village, St. Philip; and Lakeisha Alicia Archer, 26, of Ashbury Land, St. George. Greenwich also faces a charge of assault occasioning actual bodily harm on Ronald Levine. The police have turned to your assistance now in locating a missing girl. She is Natalia Rihanna Best, 16 years old, of Block 1F, Boundary Road, Eden Lodge, St. Michael. She was last seen on Friday the 27th of October by her father, Omar Primus, of the same address. Best is about 5 feet 9 inches tall, is brown skin, and when last seen, she was wearing a black top and a brown and black skirt. Anyone who may know the whereabouts of Natalia Rihanna Best is asked to contact the police emergency at 211, Crime Stoppers at 1-800-8477, or the nearest police station. Barbados' ability to detect suspicious narcotics at the island's ports of entry has been enhanced thanks to a donation from the government of India. The island has received more than $600,000 worth of medical and information technology equipment. Included are servers, 30 vascular Dopplers, 25 vital sign monitors, 35 nebulizers, 12 thermal printers, and a mobile X-ray unit. During the official handover, Chief Medical Officer Dr. the Most Honorable Kenneth George said they would accelerate the Ministry of Health's vision of universal health care for all.
As part of this donation, the various teams of within healthcare institutions have undergone training in the correct usage of the equipment. To date, more than 50 doctors and nurses have been trained, as well as members of the Barbados Drug Service who have benefited from the donation of the spectrometer, enabling them to better detect questionable narcotics at our points of entry.
The procurement process was managed by the United Nations Office for Project Services, which contributed to savings of 11% and more allowed items that originally intended to be purchased. The 107 pieces of equipment were procured using funds from the India-UN Development Partnership Fund. India's High Commissioner to Barbados, Dr. Shankar Balachandran, says his country has committed $150 million to that fund. He confirmed Barbados is in line for more financial support.
We also offered $250,000 for quick impact projects, 5 projects of $50,000 each, and we are very soon going to sign an umbrella agreement with the government of Barbados. It's a recurring one, it is an ongoing one. So once it is signed, every year we will be undertaking 5 projects a year. And apart from that, there is one more project going on, which I announced also today, that energy industry value chain project, which has created jobs and allowed market access for people working in the energy market.
A plan is underway to assess the current status of surface and groundwater hydrological systems in Barbados. The information collected will help the island to formulate and present its own Hydro SOS plan. Principal of the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology, Dr. David Farrell, made the disclosure at a 3-day Caribbean workshop at the Accra Resort. The Hydro SOS aims to provide crucial information to help understand the current status of the world's freshwater systems and adapt to changes by harnessing new technologies and manage water resources with science-based information.
The biggest challenge right now to a lot of these networks is sustainability. And we get investments, but we're not sustaining at the rate that we really need to do. And this is really incumbent on national governments and regional institutions and development partners to come up with a strategy to work with us to build out these networks, but to help sustain the networks and to build the right business models. And that also requires an integration of public sector, private sector, and academia, and building out these models and building out comprehensive and complete solutions to this problem, if we are going to reap the benefits of Hydro SOS.
The head of the Hydrology and Water Resources Services Division at the World Meteorological Organization, Dr. Werin Kim, says Barbados is in a good position as the workshop is the platform for the implementation of the Barbados Plan.
Good news is that your implementation plan will be not just a document. It will be reflect to the Cruise Caribbean 2.0 project. So you have a very bright future that the project Hydro SOS program is not for WMO. It's not for our partners. It's for you.
Halloween celebrations seem to be getting more popular here in Barbados as more people have been joining the festivities. While there have been Halloween-themed parties and fetes over the years, the skating community has adopted the concept for its party called Skatoween. Organizer Michael Lane says the second edition of the event, which featured costumed skaters, was a success.
The response was awesome. We had the kids, we had a trick-or-treating for the kids. They came as young as, we had a baby under a year, and after like 5-10 years old, they had their own freaks. It was really, really good. The adults came out in a costume, the kids were in a costume. It was well participated by all of the groups, and it was really, really a nice party. I know people are now getting into the Halloween feeling in Barbados, but it's growing, and it's even going bigger in skating. As you can see tonight, we were almost had a full house tonight skating.
And both young and old enjoyed that event.
I think that is a lot of spooky stuff, and everybody's getting on their groove and stuff, and everybody's having a good time, everybody's skating and stuff. I like what's going on. I like to see people having fun.
I am not into Halloween, but I'm really enjoying this. It's a mix of persons in costumes and people who have just come to enjoy the evening. So it's a whole mix. It's people socializing with friends and family.
Sports Night, brought to you with the compliments of Great Health Works, agents for Omega XL.
Time for us to turn our attention now to sports, and it is my immense pleasure to say good evening to you, Anne-Marie Burke. Good evening.
Good evening to you, Pearson. Welcome back.
To you too. Welcome back.
Thank you very much. And I start with some really good news. Barbados has won their first medal at the Pan American Games in Santiago. The squash pair of Margot Pro and Megan Best have won bronze in the women's doubles. CBC's Damien Best reports.
Well, it took 13 days, but Barbados finally has a medal here at the Pan American Games in Santiago, Chile. It came from the duo of Margot Pro and Megan Best.
Well, Best and Pro have secured the bronze medal for Barbados in the women's doubles at the Games in Santiago, Chile. The 3-4 seeds reached that stage after easing into the semi-finals with a 2-0 win over Pan American independent athletes doubles pair of Darlene Sandoval and Winifred Bonilla in their first match on Thursday. Best and Pro won 11-5, 11-3 in just 12 minutes. Then it was on to the semis where they met Laura Tovar and Lucia Bautista of Colombia. Best and Pro were immediately set back, down 3-love, and they would eventually lose the first game 11-5 in this fast-paced version of the sport. The second went quickly as well, despite the Barbadians' best effort to read the court and the movement of their opponents. They were losing 2 straight then, 11-5, 11-5. The Colombians marching into the finals in 15 minutes of work. The team competition starts on Friday where Best Pro and Amanda Harewood will take on their Chilean opponents at 9 a.m. Barbados time.
I'm excited that we got a bronze. Probably both our biggest achievements, I think, in squash so far, just for ourselves and also for Team Barbados. Super happy with the bronze. Gutted we couldn't turn that into a silver or gold. We're players who always want more, but nonetheless, I think we're happy with that.
I mean, we knew it was going to be tough. They're very experienced players, and they've been working together for a while, whereas we're still kind of building our relationship. But having said that, I think that going up against them, we put up a good showing despite what the score says. And I think, as Margot said, we're pretty happy coming home and bringing home at least a bronze. So that's something to take away for sure.
Meanwhile, in the men's triathlon, Matthew Wright finished 10th overall at the picturesque seaside city of Playa El Sol. That's about 2.5 hours outside the capital. He completed the swim, bike, and run in 1 hour, 47 minutes, and 23 seconds. That was 1 minute and 15 seconds off the eventual winner, Miguel Lopez of Brazil, who finished in 1 hour, 46 minutes, 8 seconds. Wright was 13th in a field of 38 in the swim component before transitioning to the bike and moving up to 8th for the 6-lap, 6.5 kilometer loop. On the bike ride, it only took the 31-year-old 3 laps to elevate to 7th, as the breakaway group of 3 representing host Chile and the USA were swallowed up. Wright eventually completed the 40-kilometer bike ride, but lost some momentum to drop to 9th. It was from that position during the run that he tried to close on the front group. However, after 4 laps of the 10-kilometer course, he would have to settle for 10th overall. Meanwhile, female golfer Emily Odwin is in a 5-way tie for 16th position after day 1 of individual competition at the Prince of Wales Country Club in La Arena. Odwin finished 4 over par after a round of 76 across 18 holes. She shot 39 on the front 9 and 37 on the back. She will be aiming to break into the top 10 heading into Friday's final day, with the leader Sofia Garcia of Paraguay at 7 under. Canadian Alina Sharp is in hot pursuit at 5 under.
Reporting live from Santiago, Chile, Damian Best, CBC Sports.
The Business Report, brought to you with the compliments of Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
In business tonight, if Barbados and the region are serious about achieving their 2030 renewable energy targets, they need to ramp up the pace of their transition. That's the analysis from President of the Caribbean Development Bank, Dr. Jean Leon. During his feature address at the ongoing Caribbean Energies and Investment Summit, he called for urgent action as he highlighted the ideal benchmarks for the region going forward.
Achieving the regional target by 2030 will require an increase in our renewable energy penetration by approximately 43%, which translates to an increase of our capacity by an estimated 2,600 megawatts within 8 years.
The CDB president notes collaborations on funding, particularly with the private sector, will be crucial to making the energy transition a reality.
There is also the cost of energy transition, which is larger than any single institution can implement on its own. Our own internal estimates suggest that shifting renewable energy capacity in the region to just 320 megawatts per year from an average of approximately 25 megawatts per year will likely require an investment of approximately $1.2 billion annually, which is a 16-fold increase over current levels.
Several young Barbadians have been receiving advice about careers in the tourism industry. Chairman of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, Rene Coppin, told a group of participants at the second Tourism Job Start workshop that the industry can be very labor-intensive. Drawing from her own experiences, she urged them to have a passion for the industry and make good use of the opportunity.
Anywhere that you want to be, this industry can take you. So let's talk a little bit about tourism. It is one of the most important industries in the world. It contributes 10% of gross domestic product. And in Barbados, that for us, because of our dependence on tourism, is almost 40% because of direct and indirect contributions of this industry. It is 1 in 10 jobs globally, 1 in 10. So you will always be employable when you work in this industry and have experience in this industry.
Program Manager in the Ministry of Labour, Social Security and the Third Sector, Erica Watson, says the aim of the exercise is to educate the participants about the world of work.
Tourism as an industry has proven to be a very powerful catalyst for economic growth, cultural exchange and social development. It has facilitated significant investment and trade, which brings in substantial foreign exchange for the country. As a labor-intensive sector, tourism has created many jobs, supported the development of many careers, and provided income for many families and households.
And that's our time tonight. Thank you for yours. I'm Pearson Bowen. For the crew, to all of you, good night. By God's will, we'll see you tomorrow.